After swallowing the black-feathered beast king, the golden rock worm king stayed still and started to squirm. It really is about to transform. Han Sen became overjoyed and took the worm king back. Sen, if you have maxed out on super geno points, you can sell me the sacred blood meat. It is such a waste feeding it to your pet, said Yuan. It is too late. Maybe next time, Han Sen said with a smile. He did not think feeding his pet was a waste at all. With the super pet armor, a strong pet would be a tremendous help to Han Sen. I have some private business and will not keep going. We will have to part our ways here. Han Sen planned to go to the underground cave where he used to hunt ghost butterflies. Maybe he could gain a few beast soul boomerangs. After parting way with King and Yuan, Han Sen went to check out the underground cave. Again, he saw the ghost butterflies with blue flames flickering on their wings. Han Sen summoned Meowth, put super pet armor on it, and ordered it to rush to the butterflies. Groups of butterflies were awakened and became fireballs rushing toward Meowth. Blue flames hit Meowth as if they had hit a glass shield and bounced off immediately. Super pet armor was indeed outstanding. Boom. Sacred blood ghost butterfly killed. Beast soul of sacred blood ghost butterfly gained. Meat inedible. Checking Meowth, Han Sen found his pet was still going forward as if nothing had happened. Super pet armor is simply wonderful. The explosion of the sacred blood ghost butterfly did not even leave any mark on the pet armor, let alone hurt Meowth. The pet armor was basically invincible. Han Sen did not bring the rest of the group over, not because he did not want others to learn about the cave, but because he did not want them to see the super pet armor or Meowth. Watching Meowth having fun hunting the butterflies like a kitty cat, Han Sen followed his pet delightedly, enjoying the gains without lifting a finger. Deeper inside the cave, darkness prevented Han Sen to see the end. The cave was extremely deep, and water kept flowing down. Although there were some sideways, the main cave never changed its direction, but went straight down to the center of the earth. Han Sen hesitated slightly and decided to let Meowth scout. According to Han Sen's previous experience, there are generally very strong creatures in deep caves like this one. Han Sen looked up and his pupils suddenly contracted as his glance swept across. Using the torch, Han Sen saw someone sitting opposite him. Who is there? Han Sen yelled at the person, but there was no response. Looking around vigilantly, Han Sen felt something must be wrong. The reason Han Sen was able to see the person was that the person was glowing. The man had his skin and muscles intact, although water had left his body cells. Because his skin was glowing, he did not even look like a mummy. The clothing on the man was very strange, much different from modern clothing. The material and style of his clothing were like the ancient clothes humans wore before they ever left planet Earth. However, Han Sen decided that this idea was ridiculous. At that time, men did not even have the ability to survive in the universe, let alone teleport to God's sanctuary. Beside his left hand, there was something that looked like a scroll. At this point, Han Sen was certain that it was a dead man. Since there was no danger he could sense, Han Sen hesitated, landed on the platform, and picked up the scroll. There were lots of miniature characters written on the scroll, at least 30,000 characters on the 3 feet long scroll. The majority of the characters were embroidered using some special threads, while the last portion was written by a certain kind of liquid. The handwriting of the 2 parts was also quite different. Quite a weird dead guy. Han Sen checked the dead man out again. The dead man was about 30 or 40 years old. Although he looked dried up, Han Sen was still able to tell that he must have looked handsome when he was alive. Han Sen reached his hand toward the dead man. He was no stranger to death and did not mind doing something like this. However, the moment Han Sen touched the clothes of the dead man, the material immediately turned into dust. Pulled by Han Sen, the clothes were immediately blown away. The dead man was naked right now, but his whole body looked sacred and solemn. Han Sen then summoned the cursed wolf dagger and cut a hole in the stone wall. He placed the body into the hole, filled the hole with rocks, and said, "Since I damaged your clothes, I will give you a place to rest. As for the scroll, you would not need it as a dead man. I will take it back to have a look. Maybe I can find out who you are and ask your family to bury you properly." Han Sen spent 2 more days in Devil Desert and found no more sacred blood creatures. He went to the area where the sacred blood fox king used to be and failed to find it. To Han Sen's surprise, Golden Rock Worm King had accomplished its transformation. Super Golden Rock Worm King, pet. Seeing the Golden Rock Worm King that had finished its transformation, Han Sen felt dumbstruck. Its gigantic body had become much smaller after transformation. It used to be the size of a bus but had shrunk to the size of a car. Behind its body, it had also developed a tail like a scorpion's. Behind its back, 2 pairs of golden wings buzzed like a bee's so fast that they were almost invisible. Ferocious was the word Han Sen was thinking when seeing the Super Golden Rock Worm King. Super Pet plus Super Pet Armor. I don't know who can stop my maxing out on Super Geno points. Han Sen felt quite proud. He cannot wait to find more super creatures to kill. Many people were fleeing from the shelter with a terrorized look. Some people were even injured. Han Sen would not feel much if it were just a few people. However, more and more people started to flood out of the shelter, which was abnormal. Brother, what's happening? Han Sen pulled someone passing by and asked. Creature. A creature came to the shelter. The person said, frightened. Han Sen paused. It was common for a creature to make its way into a shelter in second or third God's sanctuary. However, in first God's sanctuary, creatures would not even approach a shelter. Han Sen had never heard of any incidents in which a creature attacked humans in the shelter. In fact, he thought it had never happened before. Han Sen gritted his teeth and went against the crowds, entering steel armor shelter. He saw a giant golden lion raging among the buildings of the shelter from afar. Although many strong men were attacking it, none could stop it. The golden lion was still killing like crazy. Golden Growler. You must be the little golden growler. Watching the grown golden growler, which was as tall as a two-story building, Han Sen felt surprised and pleased. He was pleased that he got to meet the baby golden growler again, as he now had the ability to kill it. This golden growler was simply a godsend. However, Han Sen was surprised how big the golden growler had grown. Watching the golden growler crushing buildings and rooms, Han Sen's heart raced, because the golden growler was about to reach his room in the shelter. Han Sen did not care about anything else but the archer crow he was feeding, which should not be revealed in public no matter what. Han Sen summoned the Super Golden Rock Worm King in Super Pet Armor. He shapeshifted into the Fairy Queen and summoned the Cursed Wolf Dagger. Blood flowed and became a river. It looks like Apocalypse in Steel Armor Shelter. Retreat. Littlefinger ordered everyone to retreat. It was not because he did not want to buy more time for the merchants and ladies who did not have much ability to fight, but because he could no longer keep fighting. The situation of Steel Armor Gang and the Disciples was not any better than the Fist Gang. Plus, Steel Armor Gang had suffered the most loss. Many members of the Steel Armor Gang were military school students. The education they received gave them more courage to sacrifice themselves. However, no matter how brave they were, it was simply useless in front of Golden Growler. The Steel Armor Gang had become the last line of defense. As the members were becoming desperate and about to make suicidal attacks, they suddenly saw the murderous Golden Lion stop. Everyone was dazed. The Golden Lion raised its head, staring into the sky, and had an angry look on its face. What could possibly cause the anger of such a frightening creature? Everyone followed the Golden Lion's sight and became dumbstruck. A monster in jade armor fell from the sky. Although it was much smaller than the Golden Lion, it looked even more vicious. On the back of the armored beast stood a man with golden hair and red armor, who looked like Apollo. Han Sen. Many people who knew Han Sen couldn't help but yelp. Seeing the look in the Golden Growler's eyes, Han Sen knew that the creature had recognized himself. The lion's eyes were filled with hatred. Han Sen was sure the creature wanted to rip himself apart. Let's finish everything here and now. The Golden Growler clashed with the transformed Golden Rock Worm King. Although the Worm King was just about 1/10 the size of Golden Growler, it did not back off after the clash. The 8 sharp claws dug deep into the fur of the Golden Growler. Roar! The Golden Growler felt the pain and howled. The Cursed Wolf Dagger almost became one with Han Sen and went toward an eye of the Golden Growler. Previously, Han Sen could not even break the eyes of the baby Golden Growler. However, Han Sen had become much stronger. With the Super Beast Soul Cursed Wolf Dagger in his hand, Han Sen was not who he used to be. The dagger was stabbed into the eye of the Golden Growler hard, as if it was stabbed into rubber. Han Sen used all he got and pushed the dagger inward. Roar! As blood flowed, the Golden Growler howled, trying to hit Han Sen with its forepaw. The moment Han Sen pierced the golden eye, he had already kicked the Golden Growler's face in order to retreat. When he was in the air, the Worm King threw itself under Han Sen's feet, helping its master avoid the Golden Growler's paw. With a bleeding eye, the Golden Growler had incredible hatred in its only eye left. With a roar, it quickly hit Han Sen and the Golden Rock Worm King again at an incredible speed. Han Sen looked cold. Stepping on the Golden Rock Worm King's back, he dodged the paw and stabbed at its other eye. When the Golden Growler tried to take its paw back to hit Han Sen, the Rock Worm King had already dug its claws into the lion's paw, its tail piercing its fur, making the Golden Growler scream. Han Sen threw himself at the lion, piercing the other eye of the Golden Growler. Blood suddenly colored the golden eye red. Roar! Growling continuously, the Golden Growler quickly rushed toward a direction, knocking down countless buildings. It eventually broke out of the shelter and ran away. Watching Golden Growler leaving embarrassed, loud cheers exploded in the shelter. Many were shouting Han Sen's name. However, Han Sen had no time to respond. Standing on the back of the Golden Rock Worm King, Han Sen quickly chased after the Golden Growler. This time, he will not let the creature off the hook again. Buzzing its four wings, the Golden Rock Worm King quickly went after the Golden Growler. When it was about to catch up with the lion, Han Sen deliberately slowed down a little bit as he did not want anyone to see him kill the Golden Growler. Han Sen wondered if the Golden Growler would disappear like other super creatures, which would look suspicious to other people. Han Sen was confident to kill the Golden Growler at this point. All he needed to do was to wait for the Golden Growler to run to a desolated spot, which would be the moment he made his move. Being blind, the Golden Growler could no longer tell which direction it was going. Its eyes were bleeding, but the blood was going back into its injuries. It looked like it was healing. All the rocks and trees were knocked away by the Golden Growler. The creature eventually entered Dark Swamp. Watching the Golden Growler going deeper into the swamp where there was no one nearby, Han Sen no longer hesitated and ordered the Golden Rock Worm King to go at the blind Golden Growler. Its four wings buzzing, the Golden Rock Worm King strangled the Golden Growler with its barbed tail. The tail pierced the creature's neck and the blood started to flow. Meanwhile, the 8 sharp claws the Rock Worm King locked the Golden Growler's head down, stabbing inside its skull. The Golden Growler cried in despair, trying to hit the Golden Rock Worm King with its paw. However, it only made some noises of metal on metal. Golden blood jetted out like a spring, mixed with pieces of inner organs. Roar! The Golden Growler cried, waving its paws and trying to kill its enemy. However, it could no longer tell where the enemy was. As its blood left its body, the Golden Growler quickly became weak. Han Sen jumped on its head and stabbed the dagger into its brain, accelerating its death. After all, the Golden Growler had not grown as strong as its mother. It was only at the same level as the Cursed Wolf. Compared to the invincible large Golden Growler, it was still much lacking. If the Golden Growler had become as strong as its parent, Han Sen was afraid that the entire steel armor shelter would be crushed by the creature. At that point, Han Sen could not guarantee he would be able to stop it. Super creature Golden Growler killed. Beast soul of Golden Growler gained. Life essence available. Meat edible. Watching the dead Golden Growler, Han Sen was dazed. This time, the voice was different from before. Han Sen was happy that he was able to gain the beast soul of the Golden Growler. However, after killing several super creatures, it was the first time the body of the creature did not disappear. In addition, the voice had always told him that the meat of super creature was inedible, yet this time it said something different. If the meat was indeed edible, Han Sen wondered why the voice did not say it could bring him more Super Geno points. In conclusion, the voice was kind of weird. Han Sen did not dare to hesitate much longer. He quickly dissected the body of the Golden Growler with the Cursed Wolf dagger, searching for its life essence. Han Sen almost tore its entire body up to find the golden crystal in its skull. Although the golden crystal was much smaller than that of its parent, it was still the size of a basketball. Han Sen quickly licked at the crystal. As he drank the golden liquid, he felt his entire body was on fire. The body of this creature is so big that I wonder when I can finish eating it. Watching the Golden Growler cut into pieces by him, Han Sen felt worried. Any piece in front of him was taller than himself. Han Sen wondered how he could eat it. Let me try some first. Han Sen picked a tender piece and made a thin slice. Without time to cook, Han Sen decided to taste it raw. Very soon, Han Sen found out sadly that the meat was as tough as ever. Han Sen chewed the meat and felt as if he was chewing calfskin. There was no way his teeth could tear up the meat. He hesitated and summoned Holy Angel, wondering if she would eat it. Han Sen saw the little girl started to grow as she ate the meat of the Golden Growler. Her hair became longer and chest fuller. Her legs became longer, and a pair of white wings started to grow on her back. Han Sen felt the little girl looked more and more like the creature she used to be. Her wings became bigger and her body more curvaceous. Jade armor started to formulate on her body as well. Holy Angel. She really had become the Holy Angel. Han Sen was dumbstruck and did not know what to say. After eating a small part of the Golden Growler meat, the little girl had grown into a woman. However, the change had not stopped. The Holy Angel was still bearing her face in the meat. As she ate, the figure of Holy Angel started to shift again. Her blonde hair became almost transparent, her white armor became golden, and even her eyes and halo became pure gold. The Holy Angel turned into an elegant goddess, covered in a sacred aura. After eating all the meat of the Golden Growler, the Holy Angel turned and walked to Han Sen. She approached Han Sen until their faces met. Watching the gorgeous yet ice-cold face of the beauty, Han Sen was wondering what she wanted to do. All of a sudden, the Holy Angel held Han Sen's face with both hands and covered his mouth with her red lips. Damn it, I am molested by a pet. Han-sen stared, his eyes wide, feeling incredulous. As Han-sen was having complex feelings, he suddenly felt suction from the mouth of the holy angel. She sucked the piece of meat that he just swallowed out from Han-sen's stomach. Holy angel released Han-sen and swallowed the piece of meat, which seemed to make her look more mysterious and pretty. Evolution of holy angel complete. Han-sen heard the voice in his mind. Checking the data of holy angel, Han-sen was dazed. Holy angel, super pet. Han-sen could understand that the holy angel had evolved into a super creature after eating the meat of the golden growler. However, after she had already become a super pet, the system said she could even evolve further, which was beyond Han-sen's comprehension. A super pet must be the top being in First God's sanctuary. If the holy angel could evolve even further, what would she become? Watching the innocent girl standing in front of him, Han-sen did not know what to think. After finishing evolution, the holy angel had dismissed her transformed state and become the little girl again, looking at Han-sen with her eyes wide. Han-sen was shocked. Technically speaking, a pet could not decide its state for itself. Some intelligent pets could react automatically under emergencies, which was also quite rare and limited. Dismissing its own transformed state like the holy angel was simply beyond the ability of a pet. Han-sen regarded the holy angel with his brows knitted and took her back. Fortunately, the beast's soul did not resist. This is so strange. I believe it's the golden growler. Other super creatures all disappeared after being killed, but the golden growler had edible meat. There must be some mysteries. Ning Yu slowly walked into the cold liquid of the evolution pool. Initially, he did not want to become an evolver so soon. Once he finished evolution, he must leave First God's sanctuary in a short amount of time, otherwise his body would be damaged permanently. However, Ning Yu still chose to evolve at this point. He had so many doubts about Han-sen that he felt it was worthwhile for him to evolve. Although he had summoned 13 evolvers with their sacred geno points maxed out who worked for Starry Group in different shelters, Ning Yu still chose to evolve himself as well. Ning Yu did not want to give Han-sen any opportunity of survival. He only trusted himself with this mission. Although Starry Group was powerful, they did not want to mess with the special squad unless they had to, especially in the case that Han-sen worked for King Xuan. Ning Yu could not do anything to Han-sen in the alliance, so he had to do it in God's sanctuary. Ning Yu had so many doubts about Han-sen. If Han-sen had become an evolver when they first met, he had been staying in First God's sanctuary for too long, which should have already caused his body harm. No one would be so dumb. If he had not become an evolver, he did already have the strength beyond an unevolved person. Ning Yu could only think of one possibility, which was that Han-sen had already acquired super genes. Ning Yu even suspected that the dagger of Han-sen was a beast soul beyond sacred blood beast soul. Otherwise, how could it be so sharp? However, Ning Yu did not dare to tell anyone about it. After reading about the news that Han-sen had beaten the Golden Lion, Ning Yu was even more certain that Han-sen had acquired the power beyond sacred genes. Meanwhile, the beast soul of the golden growler was a mount. The super mount had not only incredible speed, but also adjustable size. At Han-sen's command, the golden growler could be as large as a small hill. Its smallest was still the size of an elephant. The ride was so comfortable, like he was in an advanced private aircraft, even when the mount was running at its full speed. This is the ride that gets me, girls. Han-sen felt excited. Maybe he could take Jai Yanran for a ride on the golden growler sometime and maybe even do something naughty with her. What would the term be if we do it on the lion's back? Han-sen wondered. After playing around for a while, Han-sen took the golden growler back and started to look for information on the Skynet using his comlink. After resting for 2 days, Han-sen started to plan to transfer the beast souls of Dollar back to his own identity. Su Xiaoqiao, who had now become the team lead of Bullseye, was hunting a mutant creature with a group of people. Suddenly, someone dashed from a forest in front of him and cut the mutant creature in half. Dollar, you did not evolve. Very soon. So, I want to sell all my beast souls and need your help, Han-sen said, and transferred all his beast souls and gear to Su Xiaoqiao. Hearing the voice telling him about Sacred Blood Beast Soul after Sacred Blood Beast Soul, Su Xiaoqiao was completely dumbstruck. When Han-sen was about to leave, Su Xiaoqiao came to himself and exclaimed, "Dollar, you're not afraid that I will keep the beast souls for myself?" "No, I'm not," said Han-sen casually without turning back. Su Xiaoqiao quickly asked, "You haven't given me a price yet. And where should I find you after they're sold?" "Do an auction. I only want S-class licenses of the Evolver level. I will go find you," Han-sen said and disappeared in the mountains. At this point, Ning Yu had also come to Steel Armor Shelter to find Han-sen. When hearing the news, he also looked into the background of Su Xiaoqiao and reached the same conclusion as others. Young master, Su Xiaoqiao is going to do the auction tomorrow. Should we attend the auction? Liu Lin asked. The sacred blood beast souls of dollar were quite famous and coveted by many. Ning Yu was deep in his thoughts. He murmured, dollar, Han Sen, these two. Go get me the information you gathered on both of them. Young master, you're saying that Han Sen is dollar. Liu Lin was dazed. We will know the answer to that question very soon. Go prepare for the auction, Ning Yu said quietly. Every once in a while, Steel Armor Gang would organize an auction. It was rather easy for Su Xiaoqiao to conduct another one with the trained personnel. On the day of the auction, almost everyone with some status in Steel Armor Shelter came. Ning Yu and Liu Lin were covering their faces, observing in the crowd. Ning Yu's gaze lingered on Han Sen. It seemed that he was trying to tell something from Han Sen's look. The 4 items that Han Sen gave Su Xiaoqiao were Sacred Blood Black Beetle Armor, Bloody Slayer, Meowth, and Spinning Spear. Too many people knew that Han Sen had made the last shot at the purple feathered dragon and claimed to not have gained the beast's soul, which was why Han Sen did not give the pair of wings to Su Xiaoqiao. He recognized me, Ning Yu said quietly. Really? Liu Lin looked to Han Sen, who was talking to King, incredulously. Han Sen only glanced at them and did not even look twice. Since Ning Yu was dressed like this, Liu Lin did not believe that Han Sen could recognize Ning Yu. In addition, Han Sen did not look like he had seen Ning Yu given how calm he was. Ning Yu smiled and did not say anything. However, he took back the beast's soul armor and revealed his face. Ning Yu is probably here to kill me, Han Sen thought after sitting down. However, he did not know what Ning Yu was about to do. It was Steel Armor Shelter and Han Sen was at home. Would Ning Yu harm him in public? After the auction started, Han Sen had not been able to close his mouth. His initial plan was to purchase all the beast souls himself. It was his money anyway. Su Xiaoqiao would get a small cut was all. He did not expect the prices would go so high though. Even the Black Beetle armor, which was of the lowest value, was already worth 5 S-class licenses of the Evolver level, and more. King, are you crazy? Although the Sacred Blood armor is precious, I'm sure it's not so precious. When King bid 8 S-class licenses of the Evolver level, Han Sen thought he was out of his mind. Haha, brother, it is more than just Sacred Blood armor. This is Dollar's signature and only his name would be worth this much. Many people around King seemed to agree with him, especially Hai Yun, who was standing S-class licenses like water. When he bid 10 licenses, everyone was silent. Han Sen was dazed and thought, 10 S-class licenses of the Evolver level. It must be billions of dollars, while the Sacred Blood armor would probably only be worth 200 to 300 million. Han Sen wanted to purchase his own beast souls back initially, but he was having second thoughts. S-class licenses were rare items that could hardly be purchased. Even if he had no use of them, he could always trade them for beast souls in Second God's Sanctuary. 10 licenses were a price that Han Sen could not say no to. Having given up the idea of purchasing the Black Beetle armor, Han Sen decided to let Hai Yun keep it. The bidding for the Bloody Slayer was even more heated. Hai Yun had raised the price to 15 licenses without even blinking. Han Sen felt what had happened was beyond his understanding. He even doubted whether the S-class licenses had been depreciating. Hai Yun, are these beast souls really worth it? Han Sen asked Hai Yun. These are dollars, so they're different. Hai Yun was overjoyed that he won the auction of the Bloody Slayer. Hai Yun, you already have 2. Do not try to steal the last one from us, said King half seriously. Whoever gives the higher price would win it. If you pay more, you can have it, Hai Yun said. During the auction of Meowth, Han Sen felt torn. Although Meowth was no longer that useful to Han Sen, it was his pet for the longest time. Han Sen did not want to let Meowth go. Very soon, Meowth's price was raised to 15 licenses by Hai Yun. Everyone became silent. Few people had that many S-class licenses, which could not even be bought with money. 4 universal S-class licenses. Han Sen gritted his teeth and set a price. He resisted the temptation of 15 S-class licenses and would like to get Meowth back at all costs. Universal S-class licenses. Han Sen, you would pay this much. Are you also a fan? Both Yuan and King were shocked. Not really a fan. I am just into pets. Han Sen smiled and said. 20 S-class licenses, which should have a higher value. Hai Yun still would not give up. That is hard to say. Su Xiaoqiao hesitated. Universal licenses win. All of a sudden, a voice came from the gate of the venue. Everyone turned and saw someone wearing a mask. Dollar. Su Xiaoqiao was surprised to see the person. The person looked exactly like Dollar when he was giving Su Xiaoqiao the beast souls. Su Xiaoqiao naturally recognized him. Dollar left after saying that. After all, it was just a doppelganger created by Han Sen using Beetle Knight. The shorter it appeared in front of people, the better. Should we follow him? Liu Lin looked to Ning Yu. Ning Yu shook his head and said, no need. Our target is Han Sen. Han Sen saw someone following the Beetle Knight but paid no mind to it. The Beetle Knight was a sacred blood beast soul and was controlled by Han Sen, so it was not difficult to get rid of the followers. I'm so sorry, Mr. Hai Yun. Dollar had said himself that he preferred universal licenses. Su Zioqiao looked around and said, 4 universal licenses from Han Sen. Going once. Eventually, Han Sen won the auction of Meowth and had his beloved back. Even the sacred blood gear spinning spear was bought by Hai Yun with 2 sacred blood licenses. Han Sen did not expect this guy to be such a die-hard fan of Dollar. Han Sen had earned 27 S-class licenses of the Evolver level, and all he paid was 2 sacred blood beast souls and 1 sacred blood gear. The price was simply unimaginable. If I was not afraid of his family, I would never have let Hai Yun taken the 2 beast souls of Dollar. I should have bought at least 1. King couldn't stop complaining after the auction was concluded. Han Sen felt shocked. It turned out the price was not high enough in the rich kids' eyes. They gave up only because they did not want to cross Hai Yun. When Han Sen, King, and Yuan just walked out of the venue, a dozen people laid siege to them. Are you looking for trouble? King frowned and exclaimed. Ning Yu walked out and said calmly, King, Yuan, this has nothing to do with you. It is personal between Han Sen and me. Feel free to leave and I will apologize to you later. Ning Yu, what did Han Sen do? King and Yuan both frowned. Han Sen snatched our creature, Ning Yu said quietly. It is just a creature. Name the price and I will pay for him, King said immediately. It is not about money, but about getting things straight. I hope you can understand, Ning Yu said with no emotions. Su Zioqiao rushed out with his men from Steel Armor Gang. How dare you try to cross Han Sen here? You must be blind. This is Steel Armor Shelter and you should go back to where you are. Very soon, the gang members had besieged Ning Yu's men. Thank you so much. I will always remember how good you are to me. If you ever need me in the future, I'll be there. However, this matter is between Ning Yu and me, and I will take care of it myself. Han Sen quickly stopped the Steel Armor Gang. Although others cannot tell, Han Sen had known evolvers very well and could tell that the men Ning Yu had brought were all evolvers with their sacred Geno points maxed out. If they were really in a fight, although there were more people in the gang would still suffer a greater loss. King, Yuan, let me handle this myself, Han Sen said to his 2 friends. Let's find another place to have a talk, said Han Sen calmly. So brave, Ning Yu said and commanded the evolvers to force Han Sen out of Steel Armor Shelter. Han Sen, what do you plan to do? Ning Yu looked at Han Sen. I'll let you capture me. What do you think of this plan? Thank you for watching. Subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss the next chapter.